At the very end of a summer that was all too short, the old man I was living with passed away. Even after all the years we spent together, I never knew his name. Later that evening, I dug a shallow grave in the front yard of our home and buried him there. At that moment, I was truly alone in the world.
Oh wow, you guys really liked that Bug Island video. I didn't expect for it to work so well that we'd blast through the 100 subscribers bar so fast. First off, thanks for that, it means a lot. And second off, it also means we'll be interrupting our boat ride to talk about another Wii horror game, which I'm very excited about, because this game means a lot to me. You've probably never heard of Fragile Dreams, but if you've watched these videos for any amount of time, you've at least been exposed to it. I've mentioned it a couple of times, and the OST I put at the end of almost all of these videos comes from this game. It's indirectly the reason why I started making these videos. Can you see why I wanted a special occasion to talk about it? Let's get right into it. I'm not gonna spend much time introducing Namco Bandai. Toys, amusement parks, arcades, movies, anime, restaurants, music, video games. If you've interacted with any form of entertainment in the past few decades, chances are you've been exposed to them in some way. In 2003, Kentaro Kawashima of their video game division came up with a concept for a game that will be more emotional, exploring a desolate wasteland and the ruins of Tokyo while looking for survivors and discovering what happened to the world through memories found along the way. And that was the gist of it until the Wii was revealed in 2007. Since the Wiimote could be used to control the flashlight, it immediately became the obvious choice for the game. Kawashima became director, producer, designer, and main writer for the game, and started working on it with the team he made 2 RPGs on the PS2 with, and the tri-crescendo studio, all under the name Project Fragile. 2 years later, the game released in Japan, and more than a year later, it was released in Europe and the US with a localization by Exceed Games. And Exceed tried to keep the original vision intact as much as possible, so the translation is really good. As I mentioned already, this one is the only game I've covered so far that I actually played as a child. It was pretty much my first horror game, and I struggled to get through it until a few years later. I was a cowardly kid, but the game stuck with me. The environment, the vibes, the stories. It's very rare I replay games I've already beaten, but this one? I think I've played through it like 4 or 5 times at this point. I love this game, and I hope I can share this love with you all. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe if you enjoy the content. We got more stuff in production, and that means a lot to us. Without further ado, let's get started. We start the game as Seto, who, if you couldn't guess from the intro speech at the start of the video, just buried the old man he lived with, leaving him all alone in a world that died before he was even born. We get a quick tutorial about the controls, and I have 2 things to say about it. First off, the tutorial panels are pretty neat. Nice style, pretty clear. We'll see them here and there, and I really like how they look. Second off, this game's controls are simple enough that I can play this game mouse and keyboard only with pretty much no problems at all. There is a part of the game that's a bit more annoying, but the entire game works wonderfully. PC remaster when, Bandai Namco? Anyway, the first thing we need to do is to open up the roof because it's too dark to see anything in the observatory, after which we walk across the telescope to find the old man's flashlight, which will allow us to enter the archive. The flashlight is controlled with the Wiimote, which in my case is my mouse. You can look around pretty freely, and pointing to the edges of the screen will make Seto turn in that direction. No tank controls here. Seto can move around freely with the nunchuck, which is pretty nice compared to some of the bullshit we've had to deal with last video. A short walk through the archive leads us to the old man's desk, where we find a letter addressed to Seto, and honestly, this part always gets me.
By the time you read this, I'll already be gone. Before, I didn't really care if I was dead or alive. I never considered myself worthy of living. And yet, I knew not even death could atone for my sins. You have no idea how hard it was for me to even write you this letter. It's strange, really, for having wasted so much of my life. Now that the end is finally in sight, I never dreamed I'd feel like this. Only the time I spent with you gave meaning to my worthless life. Only now do I regret that I didn't open my heart to you more. Why is it, as I say goodbye, that I'm brimming with so many things I wish I could have said to you? Please forgive this foolish old man. Head east of here, and you will reach a tall red tower. I can't promise, but there you might find other survivors besides yourself. When I am gone, you must go east. Now go. And
Seto, thank you for everything.
This letter is absolutely fantastic and hits so much harder after you've beaten the game at least once. The touching writing, the dub being damn good, and the establishing shots paint a beautiful start for the game, full of mystery and questions for you to ask. Why did he never tell Seto his name? Why did he never show affection to him? And most importantly, what sins did the old man commit? All questions that might be answered by the blue crystal he left us, alongside instructions to head to the Tokyo Tower. We don't really get time to ponder for long before something appears next to us.
Who are you? How'd you get in here?
Why should I answer?
Time to fight our first enemy of the game. I've always thought this guy looked really cool, but honestly, I don't think he even has any moves during this encounter. Combat is simple. You press A, you attack, enemy dies. Also, I absolutely love what this guy responds to the questions Seto asks him.
What are you?
I do not have to answer to you.
I can't believe a ghost who can't even attack could aura farm so hard. He's pretty neat, and we'll be seeing more of this guy throughout the game. His name is the Tracker, which is not an official name because he has no English name. His actual name is Tsuishi Sekisha, which translates to Tracker it is. With him gone, it's time for Seto to pack his stuff, leave the observatory, and begin his adventure. Oh yeah, like a few JRPGs at the time, this game starts with its own anime opening, and it works great to set the tone of the game with shots of everyday places decaying and being reclaimed by nature. This game's visuals are just so good. Once the cutscene is over, we take control of Seto near the entrance of a train station, with an absolutely beautiful decor. The moon, the tower in the distance, the flooded street with the lily pads and glowing flowers. I always take some time to just stare around and enjoy the quiet. Walking towards the station entrance triggers a cutscene where we meet the girl from the opening section, singing to the moon. Seto's approach startles her, and she falls off her beam to hit her head against the sidewalk. Don't worry though, she's not dead, just unconscious for a second.
You touched me.
Okay, so I'm gonna need you to never say that ever again. The girl runs away, and Seto decides to run after her because she's the first human he's met since he left the observatory. This girl serves as one of Seto's main motivations throughout the story, as his final goal is to find other humans more than to get to the tower. So we'll be looking for her for the whole game, and I'm sure there's absolutely no way for us to get her identity spoiled before she reveals it during the climactic ending of the game.
Foreshadowing is a narrative device.
For now, we follow her down into Azabudai Station, which is a real place, although I don't know if it still looks like that when looking for pictures of Azabudai online. But I really like the aesthetic of the train station, it's very neat. As you'd expect from the Dead World, this game makes you go through many ruined places. I think it's what gave me a certain appreciation for the aesthetic of ruins, and it being the ruins of what is, to me, a dirty westerner, common locations of a completely different culture is fascinating. Call me a weeb all you like, we already established that from all the games I reviewed.
Please help me. I am in danger of malfunctioning.
We hear a call for help somewhere in the station and find its source quickly in the form of a talking nut backpack, personal frame, or PF for short. She was made to be some sort of portable, talking Wikipedia you wear on your back, with the ability to analyze our surroundings to find stuff. PF is one of the few characters we'll meet during our journey, and one of the more helpful ones. Beyond being good conversation, you are meant to hold the Wiimote up to your ear and she'd give you clues on what to do next, which was a very cool use of the Wiimote's speaker. Anyway, we take PF with us before an earthquake makes the room collapse, and Seto decides to take her along to try and find the silver-haired girl, as well as an escape from the collapsing station. Up ahead, we find one of the most important mechanics of the game, the bonfires. Sit down and Seto will be fully healed. Sitting at a bonfire also lets you move things in and out of your inventory, as well as save your progress. It serves other purposes, but I'll get to those in a minute.
Well now, this is a rare treat. It's not every day I chance upon someone.
Hello?
Ah, oh yes, pardon me. I roam these parts in search of unique treasures. And with that, I must be on my way. Until we meet again!
Well, that happened. This is the merchant. He shows up every now and then when we rest at a bonfire, and we can both sell and purchase stuff from him, be it weapons or healing items. He won't show up all the time, but if you need him, you can sit down and then get back up until he shows up. For now, we keep going, and PF warns us that we're about to enter an area with hostiles, and that we're gonna need a better weapon than the mighty stick to fight them. I mean, it's clearly fine enough to beat up ghosts, but sure. So we go into the...
Oh yes, I forgot to mention something.
Okay, never mind, we get interrupted. So we get into the bathroom and find a new stick to replace our stick, the bamboo sword. Nice, it's a straight upgrade. Just equip it and we're good to go. Now, these ghosts stand not...
Pardon me, but there's something else I've been meaning to tell you.
Okay, Clippy, I'll be careful, don't worry. So the initial tutorial stuff with PF is a tiny bit heavy-handed. So finally, we can start making actual progress and encounter some basic enemies. Fragile Dreams has a bit of an RPG system to it, but it's pretty barebone. You get XP from beating enemies, you level up, and it increases your max HP and your damage output. You use healing items when you need them. And that's about it. No gear, no accessories, the weapon you use increases your attack power, but really, there isn't much to see here. You could remove the RPG mechanics altogether, and I don't think it detracts from the experience. It's just there. So we go around the station a bit, beating up ghosts until we find a paper crane on the ground, which introduces the last important mechanic of the game, memories. Memories are one square items you'll find around the game that you'll be able to identify when you get back to a bonfire. Every memory item comes with a little story that'll be read to you. These stories are usually the thoughts and emotions of people right before the end of the world. It doesn't really do anything mechanically, but if you don't care about them, then you'll be skipping a good 70% of this game's writing and atmosphere. These stories are absolutely fantastic to build up the world, and you should listen to them. It's just so interesting to hear the thoughts and feelings of these people. From those resigned to their fate, to those who want to live out what little time they have left fully, and those who have regrets. The melancholy of those who came before paints a beautiful picture of humanity. There's way too many for me to cram all of them into this video, but I would recommend playing this game just for the memories. 19 different writers worked on those, and they're all great. I can't really talk about each of them individually either, but I'll mention notable ones here and there. To speed up recording, I've decided that we won't go for 100% completion because, oh god damn it. The first memory we find is a paper crane bearing the memories of a little girl and her mother playing together and just having a good time. Other memories tell us that the mom died during an earthquake while going on an errand. Man, that's sad. Okay, so now that we've got all the mechanics and stuff out of the way, we go on a quick key search and open the path to the platform, where we find two new enemy types. Aggressive dogs on the platform itself and ghost arms in the abandoned train, which are arguably more dangerous than the jellyfish ghosts. I like this train section too. It's pretty neat, and short enough that it doesn't overstay its welcome. Once we reach the end of it, we find our way outside, as dawn breaks over the horizon. I've used footage of this cutscene at least thrice in other videos, and it's always just fantastic. It's one of a few perfect moments in this game, pulling yourself out of the darkness in the peaceful dawn as the sky is painted a beautiful shade of red. Seto's wonder at what he sees is endearing. He's a simple boy, and I love him for being himself and discovering the world outside of the observatory. Seto and PF chat for a bit, before Seto asks her if she saw the silver-haired girl. PF thinks she might have gone through the underground mall of the station, so off we go to find the key in the warehouse nearby. In the warehouse, we meet a little ghost girl who wants us to play hide and seek with her, in exchange for the key to the underground mall. She goes invisible, and we need to find her using the Wiimote's noises, then press A where you think she is. It's a pretty fun mechanic they introduced early that is never ever used again. Which you wouldn't assume, seeing as you get a whole damn tutorial screen for it. Anyway, it's not too difficult to win, even if you need to, and I put massive quotation marks on that, stealth your way to victory. The girl had fun. She gives us the key, and we give her the paper crane we found in return, revealing she was the little girl in that memory. It results in her mother to find her way back to her daughter, and the two of them can rest in peace, leaving Seto alone again.
Well, technically speaking, you were not by yourself.
Okay, sorry, alone with Clippy. We go back through the station and head to the mall entrance that we subsequently unlocked to reach the mall. The mall is a bit closer to what people usually think about when it comes to survival horror. Small corridors in an abandoned location that feels unnerving because of its nature as a liminal space. If it's not as interesting as the station itself, I do like the aesthetic due to, you know, a Westerner seeing something that's normal for a Japanese person, but not for me. It's fascinating to see the difference in what is considered mundane between cultures for the same exact location. The storage room is particularly neat. I don't know why, but it's pretty memorable. Don't ask me, I'm weird. Oh, and we do find some drawings on the floor made by that girl, which PF bashes as being very bad on frame 1. Seems like someone's a bit envious that we're more interested in a human, huh? Still, it means we're going in the right direction, so onward we go. Once we are past the storage room, we reach a more open area that we can explore and find some fragile floor where we need to be careful not to fall through, either by walking slow, crouching, or barely even tilting the joystick forward because of how damaged it is. This is another mechanic that you'll never see for 95% of the game. It's something this game does a couple of times. Introduce a new mechanic, then never use it again. Like, I swear, the damaged floor appears a grand total of 3 times in the entire game, with one of them being optional. I thought the extremely damaged floor would be a problem due to my inability to tilt the stick the way the game wants me to, but nope, even that isn't a problem at all. The first extremely damaged floor you find can be avoided altogether, while the second one can be cleared with very small taps to move forward. While doing some key hunting, we find another new enemy type, which are... I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. Boy legs and shorts hopping around and running up to you to kick your ass. Okay, so I think I should talk about the enemies a bit. Enemies in this game aren't just ghosts, they're malicious, foul entities. Simply put, they're remnants of those who died with emotions strong enough to linger long after death. It's a monster design thing I've always loved, when they're meant to represent complex emotions and the monsters all look different for it. In a game where you collect memories to learn about the past and see what's in the heart of those who came before, it's very thematic. The game doesn't just want to show you pretty environments, it shows you what makes us fundamentally human. There's no official source for it, but from what we've seen so far, I'd say the jellyfish represent apathy, the dogs represent fear, the kid legs represent brattiness, and the wall arms are... either a classic Japanese horror trope or perversion, but it's one or the other. Anyway, back to gameplay and we find a new... what I can't really say weapon, more like cat toy. It deals no damage and can be used to make cats approach you. Sometimes. When it feels like it. Is it useful for anything? No? Man, look at the maps Seto draws, it's so cute! Oh yeah, almost forgot due to everything, but around here is the point where you'll find your second weapon type, the pole. Here is the shape of a butterfly net. Despite its very light combat system, Fragile Dreams does have some mechanics tied to its weapons. First off, there are 4 different weapon types: sword, pole, ranged, and heavy. We'll be talking about the latter two when we encounter them. Up to now, we've been using the sword weapon type. Pretty good speed, fine range, and very good damage if you can get your combos in. Definitely your workhorse weapon. The pole weapon class has fantastic range, but hitting anything with the normal attack is a bitch. Fortunately, you can charge it up for a spinning attack that deals massive damage, staggers enemies real good and just has so much range. Look at how long the hitbox lingers. Unfortunately, you can't really main any one weapon for long, because the game has a durability system. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I think it might be damage based, where you deal a certain amount of damage with a weapon and then it breaks and you need to replace it. It's fine though, adds a bit of spice to an otherwise pretty bare-bones system. The game is kind enough to never break your weapon during a fight, only once you've escaped or killed everything. You can easily get away with only ever carrying a single weapon at a time. I'll be using the butterfly nest for a while. It's a very fine weapon and it's kinda fun to use. We find the key to the old mall, go down and...
Be very careful.
PF, darling, I like you, but I'm fine. No need to worry. We get through a few arena rooms that are easily cleared by the ancient technique of spin to win, and we find one of my favorite memories in the game here.
I want to leave proof here that I existed in the world. So, if there's anybody listening to this, please remember me. Remember that I was alive.
I believe that everyone will have at least one memory they resonate with in this game, and yeah, that one I feel deeply. It's as if I started making these videos for... We reach the ladder back to the surface. Seto is a bit bummed that PF and him couldn't find the girl down there, which makes PF feel very self-conscious that she couldn't be of much assistance, while Seto assures her she was a great help. But unfortunately, this is where she'll be able to help us no further.
Warning. Battery low.
Huh? Wait, what battery?
PF is out of battery, and thus, our journey with her must come to an end. She tells Seto to shush, and tells him how much she enjoyed the short time they had together. She thanks him for being with her during her last moments, then realizes one last thing.
Oh, and your name. I never asked you what your name is. Thank you.
Seto. My name is Seto.
Seto takes the time to bury his friend, and then we get a cutscene of an older Seto reminiscing about this moment.
I had a dream that a familiar voice was calling me. As I walked along, it spoke to me, sometimes worried, sometimes happy. We watched the red sky, full of clouds, caught up in the summer wind. The little time we spent together shone brilliantly, like a light in those darkened days of the past. I know that no matter how badly I wish to see you again, that can never be. Those who live must continue to live. Those who are dead will only continue to stay dead in the cold, hard earth.
These cutscenes, at the end of every chapter, are some of my favorite parts of the game. They are gorgeous. The visuals, the music, everything works perfectly with this very moment. I won't show all of them, but at least the ones that I feel are the most important. Still, it's such an abrupt end to a character the game makes you feel will be with you for your entire journey. Like, sure, PF was a bit annoying, but annoying like a worried parent. She knew she only had so much time left, and she spent it with someone who listened to her. It's bittersweet, but at least we can find comfort in knowing we made her last moments pleasant. After a couple moments, we climb up the ladder back to the surface and find ourselves in an abandoned amusement park. It looks like we spent all day underground since it's now night again. I think the amusement park is my favorite area in the entire game. It just has a vibe, man. Normally when you see an abandoned amusement park at night, it's scary because, you know, liminal space and all that, but this one feels peaceful. The light breeze rustling the leaves, the faint moonlight bathing the park, the distant aurora. It's just so calm and appeasing, minus the weird guy doing cartwheels. Wait, what?
Well, well, what do we have here? What do you think you're doing in a place like this?
Huh? Who are you?
Come on, didn't your mom teach you any manners? You first.
Well, someone's having a lot of fun. Anyway, this is Crow. He's very in your face and aggro, and before we can even understand what's going on, he steals Seto's locket and challenges us to catch him if we want it back. Also, we find an additional bag, so now we have more inventory space. Neat. Here, we need to follow the Wiimote's sound to follow Crow around the park, before finding him back in the central area.
This way!
It's a pretty good time to explore the park and look around, and I really like it. It just has a nostalgic vibe of when I went to small amusement parks as a kid. Once we find Crow in the central area again, he taunts us a bit, and now we get a tutorial on how to catch him. Another mechanic that's never recycled. He's pretty easy to catch around the merry-go-round, then he goes to the spinning teacups. He's a bit more annoying to catch here. You need to hide in the teacups and wait for him to get close. Then you sneak up on him and catch him. It's always a bit awkward though. After that, he straight up moon jumps away to the roller coaster, and you should already have the key to this area if you looked around the park a bit. Here, you need to climb on the roller coaster track and follow the path while avoiding falling off the sides. Another mechanic that is never used again. You're starting to see a pattern here? While you walk along the track, you'll also get attacked by ghost birds, who are a pain in the ass to deal with on the ground in the first place. Fortunately, this is where we find our first ranged weapon, the slingshot. It's pretty simple. You aim it at something, you shoot, it gets hit. Take a good look at it, because you're never seeing it again. Ranged weapons in this game come with a ton of issues. They are fairly low damage, awkward to aim, and they don't allow you to use your flashlight, which means that some enemies will remain invisible, which is not very conducive to shooting them. Unfortunately, there's like 4 spots in the entire game where we actually need one of those, but by this point, we'll have access to the strongest ranged weapon. You know what? Just don't even interact with the whole roller coaster thing. Ignore the birds and rush through. Once we reach the end of the track, we find Crow doing a handstand in front of a very obvious trap. So obviously, we fall into it. We land back into some kind of maintenance area. We need to get out of here, and as we find our way around, we stumble upon a book about a pirate boy who speaks in a very similar way to Crow's. Not much else happened until we find our way back to the amusement park and chase Crow down to the Ferris wheel. Crow taunts us a bit, then the tracker appears, and he didn't even get to attack. Embarrassing. With that quick distraction out of the way, Seto starts climbing the Ferris wheel to get his trinket back. Crow keeps us styling until he eventually slips and falls down, crashing into the merry-go-round.
Crow! You're not dead, are you? Answer me! Crow!
Jeez, what a racket you're making.
Oh yeah, Crow doesn't actually die on us. He's fine. Somehow. Crow apologizes for taking Seto's trinket, then shows him a picture of himself with a scientist guy. Crow has no memories of his past, and hopes that if he can find the place in this picture, that he'd be able to learn about who he is. It's a pretty nice moment, where the game doesn't try to punch you in the guts like it did for PF. Crow and Seto have a good dynamic, kind of like siblings. Before we part ways, Crow gives us a silver skull ring and tells us where we could maybe find the silver-haired girl.
You better keep it safe in your locket, okay?
Just kiss already.
Well, thank you.
Oh wow. Oh, can't forget. Cool cutscene time.
Anytime I'm feeling alone, I think about how there's someone out there feeling the same way as me. At this very moment, there are innumerable people just like me all over the world. Yet the tiniest act of sharing a secret could easily make 2 of us friends. So simple, so effortless. I've never revealed your secret to anybody, and I never will. I promise. I swear. Tonight, under the blue moon, from beneath this dilapidated Ferris wheel.
With nothing left to do in the amusement park, we make our way through a small grove where day finally breaks. We don't get to see sunlight much in this game, but this is nice. It feels peaceful, warm. It feels like a summer day. We find an abandoned hotel, which is yet another lovely area. Front door is locked, so we need to find another way in, which results in us hearing someone's voice telling us to not come in. So the first thing we do is come in. The hotel is yet another very, very atmospheric area. It's something I've been mentioning for every area so far because they're just that well done. The station, the mall, the amusement park all had some pretty immaculate vibes, but this is the first time we technically explore a place during daytime. Here, let me compare the vibes between them. It's all effectively the same thing, exploring an abandoned place. But the atmosphere makes a wonderful job making them feel unique and interesting. The choice of only having ambient noises during exploration also just adds that little bit of spice that holds the whole experience together. The hotel feels like we're doing urbex. It makes me feel nostalgic for the simple state of staying at an hotel in the forest during a summer vacation. Quietly sitting down, looking out the window and waiting for something to happen. Shit, I've never even experienced something like that. Oh yeah, the hotel is also technically the second place in the game that introduces memories that are part of an overall story rather than standalone tales, like the paper crane at the beginning of the game. Finally, a mechanic that's reused. There's a total of 7 throughout the game, with 2 of them in the hotel. The first story is of a father officing the marriage of his son and his fiancée in this very hotel. The other one is the story of Akane and Mao. Akane wants to become a ballerina, Mao a botanist, but they get into an argument when Mao misses her recital and Akane loses the use of her legs to a fever, and her and Mao drift apart.
Where did you come from? Where are you going?
Why did we come here again? Oh right, the girl trying to keep us out. We follow her voice until we reach some sort of conference room and... yeah, so that girl was a ghost, who could have guessed that? Before we can even ask her name though, we get attacked by the tracker and he's dead again. Man, it's crazy how much of a pushover this guy is. I swear he's got attacks too, he's just camera shy or something. Also, it was officially the tracker's last appearance in the game, folks. To celebrate, he offers us a fully paid stay at the hotel for 1 weekend and drops us a key to one of the hotel rooms, where we find that ghost girl from earlier and, well, her corpse. The ghost introduces herself as Sai, and is intrigued that there are still living people around. She seems to recognize Seto's trinket, and looks like she... knows who Seto's grandpa was? Sai doesn't really have anything better to do, so she decides to tag along for the ride, taking the place of PF in our Wiimote. Before we go though, Seto pulls a blanket over her corpse, and then off we go to look around the hotel again. Oh hey look! Our next story beat is here. This is Chiyo, a ghost who firmly does not want us to get inside the room she's guarding. I really like her design, it's very cool. But I also hate seeing her, because if the game was great until now, it takes a sharp dive down right about here. Seto decides to try and earn Chiyo's trust, which is accomplished through a series of fetch quests that force us to backtrack. A lot.
I know. Will you bring me the star?
Thankfully, the game tells us roughly where to find the item and opens up a shortcut to get back to the mall quickly so we don't waste our time going back through the amusement park. Unfortunately, the star isn't there, someone moved it. Instead, we find a new, special flashlight that reveals hidden messages that we're supposed to follow to find the star. Now, I like the idea of the special flashlight and it revealing secret messages and stuff. Unfortunately, not only is it yet another mechanic that's never recycled, it's also... kinda useless? Like, don't get me wrong, it's a cool idea on paper, but the messages you find do not reveal any secrets, the light doesn't affect ghosts as much, and it's just kind of fucking ugly. The messages do give more of an horror vibe to the game though. Still, it's mostly a novelty item that you'll likely just throw into the suitcase after 20 minutes with it. We find the store, bring it back to Chiyo, she doesn't believe us at first, but then sees that we're right. Then, she sends us on another errand.
The moon. Can you bring me the moon?
This time, we just go back to the amusement park and tear the moon from the wall.
I did it. It came right off.
We then go back to Chiyo. Now if I sound a bit annoyed, it's because I am. this fetch quest slows the game's pace to an absolute crawl. Never have you needed to backtrack until now. The game always pushes you forward, showing you new and interesting things, making you do new things that'll never happen again. But not here. This quest sucks and I do not care about it. Oh yeah, and we've got one more errand to run.
Well, my ring. Could you get back the ring I lost?
Thankfully, this one is nearby and what the fuck is this?
Watch out! It spotted us!
Oh shit, it's actually a new boss! Wake up! Wake up! Well, he's still PCZ though, just rush his ass and smack him until he dies. But hey, this one actually does stuff, which is a massive spike in difficulty compared to the tracker. Man, I feel so bad for him. Anyway, the tree ghost drops us the ring, Chiyo lets us in, and as it turns out, she's still alive? But a ghost? Huh? I have so many questions. She tells us stuff about cherishing life or whatever, and just dies, even getting one of those pretty cutscenes. And if it's all fine and dandy, it feels not good? Like, don't get me wrong, the visuals are still stunning, but this doesn't feel fitting, I guess? Chiyo's quest was just us doing errands. It didn't really build up to this moment through us interacting with her like we did with PF and Crow. The message isn't bad in itself, it just feels, I don't know, not as impactful of a story beat, I guess. Doubly so because Seto doesn't look like he's about to kill himself. Shit, even he looks like he's not really getting what's going on here. We get a hairpin as a memento and then move on, I guess. Seto and Sai hang out on the roof for a bit, where Sai asks Seto why he's so insistent on finding that girl.
I mean, I guess it's like this. See how big and white the moon is? It's so beautiful. But no matter how beautiful I might think it is, if there's nobody I can tell that to, that feeling will end up vanishing inside me, like a bubble bursting. And I won't even know for certain if I actually thought it in the first place. That's the reason why I need someone to talk to. Someone who'll be there to listen, to hear what I have to say. They don't even have to respond, really. Just a simple yeah now and then would be fine by me. I just want someone to be with.
His answer is something I think a lot of us can resonate with. Seto and Sai are interrupted by a cat who runs away. Having genuinely nothing better to do, Seto and Sai decide to follow him downstairs until they find an open manhole on which the silver-haired girl scribbled some stuff. So we go down into the tunnels and we go forward, and we go forward, and we go forward, and Jesus Christ, how long is this corridor? If the first half of the game was like a beautiful eagle soaring through the sky, Chiyo's questline is when it gets hit by a baseball, and the waterworks is when it crashes, tumbles, and catches fire. It takes about 10 real minutes to get through this tunnel and the subsequent ladder. And if I wouldn't call it a hard point of no return, it effectively is, because who in their right mind would go back and forth in this tunnel? And no, the safe spot calling it the corridor that never ends doesn't make the situation any funnier. Now onto the waterworks themselves. Okay, so first off, it gets some points off because it's a sewer. And then some more because it's 1,000 times less interesting than what the game has shown us so far. And you've probably noticed it already, but this map is huge. Like, really huge. Meanwhile, Seto isn't particularly fast. Do you see where I'm going with this? I'll tell you in 3 days, when Seto arrives. The worst offender is this room, the Silent Shrine. There's memories and goodies to pick up around the room, but since you can't just climb up and down into the central pool, you need to go back and forth about 6 times and it takes forever. I'm not kidding, I've got about half an hour of footage that's just this stupid room alone and I hate it, I hate it, I hate it. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot that this is where we'll find the last weapon type of the game, hammers. I've never really used them before recording for this video and... they're slow, have absolutely no range, and damage that's inferior to both the sword and the polearm. Sure, it staggers enemies good, but you can't hit them while they're on the ground anyway, so what's the point? At least you can charge up for a spin attack, but again, it deals less damage than the pole, has way less range, and if there's more than one enemy in the room with you, you're getting hit before the animation ends. Absolute fucking garbage. It's insulting that you get access to this so late in the game. The one redeeming quality about the waterworks is that this is where you can find the 7 colored bells, my favorite memories in the entire game. They tell the tale of 7 dead girls and a nameless one who steals their colored bells to pass herself as them to their families. It's wonderfully written, and as much as I'd like to put all of them in this video, it makes the runtime about 43 minutes longer. So instead, go give it a listen later, maybe while you're doing a thing. I compiled and posted the memories on this channel some years ago. 11 out of 10 rating. After wandering around empty corridors for a while, we find a cat who we need to woo to progress. Literally the only time in the entire game you need the cat toy. Blah blah blah, never reuse, let's get on with it. We follow the cat deeper into the tunnels until we find a den of the strays gathered around the silver-haired girl, who's behind bars.
The boy who touched me.
Oh, shut up! Anyway, since the cat trusts Seto, she trusts Seto now. And as Seto is about to ask her name,
What's your...
Glass cage will commence shortly.
he actually can't. So we go to find a way around and end up in a suspicious looking room for a boss fight. This one's an elephant-sized mole who goes through the walls and attacks us from random directions. To find out where it's gonna appear, you need to listen to the Wiimote. Wait for it to show up and attack, then counter. Not a particularly hard boss, but definitely one of the more interesting ones because it uses a mechanic the game hasn't dropped the minute it was introduced. We kill the mole, then head up a service ladder to reach the dam. And if this sequence has aged poorly due to it being on the Wii, it's still such a cool moment. It's grandiose, and it's the first human structure that's still functioning despite the end of the world, somehow. Unfortunately, the dam comes with the same issue as the waterworks. The dam is huge. Massive even. Seto is small and not that fast. Wait, what are you doing here? That's... what?
Please help me.
Huh. Okay then. Wait, we have a main plot beyond the whole find survivor things now? Oh shit, I wasn't prepared. I just... So with the girl in need of our help, Seto wants to go and save her by climbing down the maintenance ladders of the dam. Sai tries to dissuade him, but quickly gives up because of how stubborn Seto can be, so it's time to climb down.
He'll be the second death of me, I swear.
So the dam's walkways are... well, they are... listen, I know that dams are big structures, and like, it's what makes this area impressive, but there's such a thing as too long. This section with the walkways? Too long. Way too long. It's a glorified straight line with birds appearing every now and then, and some flimsy walkways you need to go slow on. If on its own it's annoying, the worst part is the constant sound of the waterfall straight into your ear, and it gets annoying real quick. I already don't like the regular combat theme much, but it's just never ending because there's always one stupid bird that spawned on the wrong level so you can't reach it. Kill me already. And the walkways aren't just annoying because they force you to go slower and deal with the birds. It's also where I wasn't sure we wouldn't get softlocked because of my inability to push the joypad as softly as the game wants me to. But fortunately, going one step at a time when the screen isn't shaking is enough to make it. It's just annoying and takes forever. The dam screams unfinished. I don't know if deadlines were coming up, budget ran out or both, but you know it's bad when one of the bird spawns is right on the bonfire. Gone are the days where we could walk around in semi-open areas and explore. For the rest of the game, we're getting straight lines whether we like it or not. We eventually enter the dam from the bottom, and if you had any doubt that this is where the game was rushed out of the door, we stumble upon a scene of the merchant without his mask on. Turns out he's been a robot all along, and he's been collecting shinies around the world to try and wake up a dead baby he's been watching over for... who knows how long. Seto steps on a wind chime, which prompts the merchant to put his mask back on and throw shit at him until he leaves, yelling for him to never come back. And this scene just doesn't work. It fundamentally doesn't work. Let me explain. For a reveal to work, you need something to build up to it. Let's take PF's section for example. You meet PF, she joins you on your adventure, and we learn more about her. She's worried about Seto and wants to spend time with him, building up a connection with you until the reveal that her batteries are about to die. This leaves an impact on the player, since they've spent the past 2 hours building up that relationship with PF. The reveal that her battery is almost depleted and that she won't escape the underground mall makes you feel something. The entire thing builds up to it. Now, let's see for the merchant. You meet him formally in the station. Trading with him doesn't build up any kind of relationship, since he just says 2 lines and leaves, and then this scene. It misses the mark. The reveal is interesting, but it doesn't mean anything to the player, because there was nothing leading up to it. It just comes out of left field. After that, we get this room. And this room. And this room. I'm not showing you guys footage of the same area thrice, by the way. It's just that it's been copy-pasted thrice for some ungodly reason. Oh wait, never mind. The third one has a target you need to shoot with an arrow to open a door, which you've never needed to do before and will never need to do again. This game's favorite. We enter a control room and the merchant shows up again. He apologizes for his behavior and explains us his backstory a bit. Sai prevents Seto from telling him that his princess is dead because sometimes ignorance is bliss. The merchant gives us 2 things to apologize, a plushie resembling his mask as well as a large bag which gives us even more inventory space. Thanks! And right after that, we find a high beam flashlight. It's way stronger than the regular flashlight and affects enemies more, but it can result in some awkward situations where the AI kind of breaks due to how much it debuffs them. Still, it doesn't change the fact that this whole area's story beats feel forced. The Dam is definitely the place where they crammed in everything they wanted to add about the story, but couldn't. Still don't believe me? Well, what if I told you that after that, we get a straight line to the next story beat? And is Crow fucking dying? So yeah. After being completely absent from the game since the amusement park, we find Crow seated against the wall, surrounded by discarded androids. Crow reveals that he was never human in the first place and that, just like PF, his battery is about to run out. And if it does affect me more than the merchant reveal, it's still just... I don't know, man. It feels shoved in to resolve Crow's plotline. You see what I mean now about the Dam? It feels like the plan was for this game to be a bit longer, that you'd get to know about the merchant through him talking about his motives and the princess, and that you'd meet Crow again during your journey to build up more memories before he dies. Hell, if you then put Chiyo's story bit after these 2, it'd have a lot more impact. Even the backtracking would work, Seto feeling like shit, but reminiscing about the places he's been and the good times he had with the people he met there, followed by Chiyo's message of cherishing life. I get that they had to trim the fat on this game, but it feels like they took a goddamn chainsaw to it. It's such a shame too, because they even got one of those fancy cutscenes for Crow's death. Oh man. No idea where the corpse goes though, because once the cutscene ends, all that's left of Crow is a massive crow feather. And then it's back to the ludicrously long corridor with new enemies to handle. Discarded androids who are invulnerable half of the time. This might be the lowest point of the game, honestly. All you're doing is go down a corridor with enemies spawned in your face every 10 meters. It's not fun, it's not interesting, I do not care about it. It's so sad that a game that started so well has to go down to such awful padding techniques to stretch the runtime just that bit longer. After a solid 10 minutes of straight line through enemy spam, we reach a radio room. Seto turns it on and manages to catch a frequency. Or like 3 of them until he manages to focus on one. What we hear from the radio proves that there are still people in the world beyond just us and the girl. All Seto has to do is find them now. He gets so emotional about it that he starts crying. Again, good scene. Awful pacing after the merchant and Crow. After that, it's more straight lining until we reach a... What the fuck even is this room actually? Anyway, we find a PC screen with a camera that films the silver-haired girl laying down in a tube, in a machine, in a very red room. The transmission ends with a message that reads "Glass cage launch preparations complete," and Sai saying that he's ready to begin. What? Okay, hold on. This story's getting serious real fast and I have zero idea what we're talking about now. Well, for now, we take an elevator back to the top of the dam, where a whole-ass demolition platform is attempting to destroy it. But since we're alive and a human, whoever is controlling this mech scolds Sai and decides that he'd rather kill us. So remember when I said there were like 4 spots in the entire game where ranged weapons are necessary? Well, this is the second one. The demolition platform is both the second most impressive boss in the entire game and objectively the hardest. You can only damage it by shooting it in the energy ball, and if its attacks are very slow and telegraphed, the wrecking ball is a bitch to dodge and I still have zero idea how you're supposed to avoid it. But I'd be lying if this wasn't one of the coolest bosses I've fought in this game. Seto is literally just a kid and yet here he is, fighting a whole-ass haunted mech with a fucking crossbow. Absolute legend. The mech goes down, and Sai explains to us that whoever is behind what's happening is likely going to fully wipe out mankind if he gets his way with the glass cage. Seto still wants to rush and save the girl, which results in Sai being incredibly harsh to him.
And if you do manage to save her, then what do you do next? You really think you two will just somehow click with each other? What if you don't even get along? Maybe you won't understand each other. Maybe you'll hate each other. Relying on your faulty language to communicate? You humans will never fully understand each other. And you still want to see her knowing that? Do you still want to save her?
But Seto doesn't move. He yells back at Sai, too determined not to go and save the girl even if the two of them might not get along. Sai gives up and finally decides to help Seto find where the girl is held captive. We get back to the cat den, where Sai gives us the code to get through the door and head deeper into the waterworks. Oh yeah, and we find something I completely forgot was there, the flash bulb, the final type of flashlight. It's a flashlight that you need to charge up before flashing your surroundings to hit all enemies around you for massive damage. In theory, it's a cool BFG type weapon, but it takes 3 business days to charge up, doesn't produce light so enemies remain invisible, and it can break. It's another weapon I never used before and fuck does it suck. I decided to use it in an actual fight to see how it would work. I got one shot off, was unimpressed by the damage, charged up the second, and it broke without dealing damage. Absolute dog shit. What's with the waterworks and shitty new weapon types? Anyway, we get further into the waterworks and suddenly a door closes behind us, trapping us in a room full of debris. Seems like it's the end of the road. Seto makes a fire and sits down, and Sai finally decides to tell us more. About herself, about the world, and about who we're after. Long ago, a scientist discovered the secret of how humans could interact without words, just connect to and understand each other. There was a project to awaken this ability in people, and the people of the world supported it, seeing as everyone was tired of conflicts and wars. It will be the end of all misunderstandings. The Glass Cage project was meant to send a signal across the world to awaken this ancient power.
But then, the next morning, no one woke up.
And now, it's gonna happen again, with the girl as a catalyst. If you're wondering how Sai knows so much about the project, it's simple. She was the catalyst the first time around. Scientists conducted painful experiments on her every day, without caring at all how she was feeling, except for one guy who actually asked her if she was okay. Some guy named Shin, who, oh hey, look, a cat! It's our story bit to escape! Totally didn't expect that from the minimap, at all! So we get through the rubble through a hole that was like 2 meters away from us, and after running through corridors and crawling through vents for a bit, we reach... oh wait, no. Tracker shows up again. As I was saying, corridors, vents, and now we reach a lab where we finally meet Shin, the man behind the Glass Cage project. He's not too happy about Sai bringing a human here, refuses to answer her questions, then disappears. I don't have anything to say about the lab. It looks neat, but it's pretty much the same as we've seen since the dam. A straight line to the end, but this time in tight corridors with robots too fat to just run past them. At this point, the game lost most of its vibe. It's sad. I'll still mention this memory item that's super well hidden, the little rat bastard, which tells the mouse side of the Akane and Mao story from the hotel. How he was the one who made Akane lose the use of her legs when he went foraging for mushrooms instead of going to her recital, and him blaming himself forever for it.
Where did you come from? Where are you going?
Then we get 2 rooms that are a bit different. First one being a rush through because you're losing health constantly type of room with enemy spam, my favorite. The second just requires you to play green light, red light with a bunch of cameras. Once we're past, we find the room of the Glass Cage, where Shin awaits us. He drones on about language sucking to communicate and wanting to destroy humanity, and when confronted about it, his one argument is just shut up. Shin then charges up, and it's boss time. We can't hurt him while he's electrified, and hey, would you look at that? We're using the crossbow again. Use it to shoot down Shin's projectiles, then rush him with the katana when he gets a headache. Repeat until defeated. Shin takes a beating, and Sai doesn't let us finish him off. Unfortunately, it's already too late. Shin made a copy of the girl's consciousness into a crystal and will use that instead to trigger the glass cage. So now we save the girl.
You touched me.
No time to celebrate though, Shin is about to end mankind. We climb up the lab and reach the foot of Tokyo Tower and... yeah, this is the fragile dreams I know and love. This isn't the same vibe as during the start of the game, but this is a beautiful sight. Shin is hiding at the very top of the tower, and Seto tells Sai and the girl to stay here so he can handle the situation. Sai gives us a forehead kiss for good luck and asks us to stop Shin. Don't forget to grab the last few mystery items around the stairs before you go up, because that's your last point of no return. The climb up the tower is... maybe a bit too long. It's the calm before the storm, with some more of these fat-ass robots in the way. Every now and then, Seto hears the cheers of his friends echo through the night. PF, then Crow, then Chiyo. Wait, what? Aren't two of them like... robots? How does that even... whatever. We get one more safe spot before the end, and we're at the top of the tower. This is it, the final confrontation. If you walked in without one, the game gives you one katana to finish it all with. We confront Shin once again, but what more is there to say?
Why do you fight me?
Why do you insist on wiping out mankind?
Communication through speech is meaningless. You will never comprehend this fact.
You're right. I don't understand you at all! But, no matter what, I know I need people. I'm sick of being all alone in this world!
Words will get you no further!
This fight is sensibly the same as the one we just had with Shin in the glass cage room, but this one is just perfect. Even if the story struggled to get us there, to introduce the glass cage so late and everything, it's just such a climactic fight. The fight to decide humanity's fate, fought atop Tokyo Tower under the pale moonlight. Shin is right, words will get us no further, and the music just... listen to this! The fight isn't hard, but it's truly the best fight to end this game with. With him defeated, Shin finally starts to answer our questions, the most important of which, the reason why he wanted to destroy the world.
It turned its back on me.
Shin secretly tested the glass cage on himself before deploying it at the world scale, allowing him to see into the heart of people, and all he found there was hatred. Behind all the smiles, the accolades, everything, all he saw was hatred. Toward him, toward others. His experiment put him in the middle of a constant storm of negativity, which eventually led him to a massive crash out, and him sabotaging glass cage so that it would kill humanity. After all, why would it be wrong to want it all to end in the middle of such hatred? But Sai intervenes and revealed that through it all, she didn't support Shin's goals like he believed.
The only thing I ever wanted was to be with you. I just wanted to be near you. I needed to be part of your life.
With this display of love, Shin throws the crystal down the tower and gives up on activating the glass cage again. Shin and Sai say their goodbyes and once again, Seto was alone. Or well, not really anymore. We climb down the tower with the girl and Seto finally gets to ask her her name.
In all this time, I don't think I ever got your name.
Ren.
And that's the end of Fragile Dreams. Seto and Ren head out to find more survivors and that's more or less it. There is a very short manga about some stuff they do after the end of the game, but it doesn't really add anything to the story, so I won't be talking about it. After everything, I think the only word I have to define Fragile Dreams is... unfortunate. The game is beautiful. It's written well for the most part, the memories are a treat to collect and I really enjoyed the entire cast, minus perhaps Chiyo. The visuals, the vibes, everything is pristine. But it wasn't done. It shouldn't have released in the state it did. Something happened. Either budget ran out, deadlines were coming up, or who knows what else was going on at the time. And you can see it, both in writing and the quality of the environments. It's not that the devs gave up, it's that they could not finish it. Chiyo's questline, the waterworks, the dam. Hell, you could feel that the 7 bells were supposed to be scattered around a greater area instead of thrown about haphazardly in the waterworks. There's also the problem of the many plot holes throughout the game, due to how much has been cut. I managed to find an interview of the game director, Kawashima Kentaro, about some elements of the plot. It was translated on GameSpot by TLN, which I'll link in the description if you're interested. And unfortunately, most of the plot holes are explained by Kawashima going, I don't know. Some stuff was left unfilled so that people could make up their own headcanon. It's an interesting read, so I recommend y'all to read it, even if there's some explanations in there I find unsatisfying, like who Seto's grandfather actually was. I've seen people talk about the gameplay being pretty poor, and if I do agree that it's a bit lackluster, well, I've seen some call this game Silent Hill for kids. And on many aspects, I kinda agree with that sentiment. Silent Hill 2, in particular, is a good comparison. Both games heavily focus on atmosphere and the writing, touching upon topics of emotions and feelings that can be pretty uncomfortable to talk about. Fragile Dreams is nowhere near as raw as Silent Hill on this front though, and likewise, Silent Hill 2's gameplay kind of sucks. You're not gonna tell me that the original Silent Hill combat system was interesting. It was tacked on, and the game was at its worst when you were fighting. Fragile Dreams focused more on the themes of empathy, and the pain of those who were faced with oblivion. There's at least one story for everyone to identify to in this game, and listen, I'm gonna be a bit more personal here, a bit more real. When I played through this game and finished recording, I felt pretty good for a couple of days, because I was happy for playing through a game I love again and to talk about it. But as I write these lines, the topics it mentions just make me melancholic. At the end of the day, what is Fragile Dreams about? It's not about Seto's journey. It's not about Shin's sins. No. It's a story about humanity. Humans are all the same. We feel joy, we feel anger, we feel sadness, we feel fear. We all share these same 4 emotions, and yet it's so difficult for us to express ourselves to one another, to understand each other. I feel a certain connection to some of these stories. The cell phone girl who wanted to leave a proof that she was alive, the man who didn't know to what end did he toil, Seto's loneliness, hell, even Shin's pain. But I do not understand them. I never will. Because I didn't share their stories. I do not truly know how they felt during their respective tales, and I never will, because I'm not them. I can only empathize, because I'm only human. And it's true for you too. You, behind your screen, who's been listening to me rambling for the past... I don't even know how long this video will be. I don't know you, perhaps I never will, but whatever pain you're feeling, whatever you're going through, I can empathize with it. I hope that everything will be alright in the end. I hope that you'll find your happiness. I will never understand you. You will never understand me, and that's okay. And thank you. Thank you for watching this video, for listening to my philosophical ramblings. I've wanted to talk about this game for so long, and I'm happy I was able to. Sorry for getting a bit more real, I needed to get some stuff off my chest. If you enjoyed the video, share it with your friends, subscribe, all that. Thank you all so much for the 100 subs, it means the world to me. More cheerful content to come soon, even if it takes me forever to make these videos. Be kind to each other, empathy is what makes us humans. See you next time, pal.